Today we're going to talk about another new Engauge product called the Engauge Timeless Driver. This is the first of its kind in the world. It's essentially a wrist gauge. It couples with the Engauge underdash engine module. Now we're not going to cover this because we've covered it in other videos, but any Engauge product you buy comes with the Engauge engine module, which is easy to install under your hood. Back to the Engauge Timeless Driver. Well, what is it? First of all, it looks like a watch, but it's not. It's a wrist gauge system. This retrieves data from your engine module. You can wear it right on your wrist, just like a watch. It does happen to tell the time, incidentally, but it automatically powers off to save power. You can touch it, and it will come back on. While you're driving, you can glance at your wrist, or while you're tuning the car, either one, and see engine RPM, engine temperature, you see there, 78 Fahrenheit, oil pressure, 20 psi, and battery voltage. There are 3 orbiting spheres which are used as part of a gauge. You can see that the outer ring shows engine RPM up there at the top, 2800 RPM. The others show temperature and oil pressure. Now, this is a colored touch screen, meaning there are whole selections of menus. So, for instance, we can set different options here by touching it. We can set the time, we can set the number of cylinders in the car, we can set, most importantly, alarms. For instance, we're going to set a temperature alarm here. These are very important because if you're driving your car and you see excess temperature, you may not be looking at your gauge. You may have a classic car gauge system with idiot lights, which are essentially useless. This will alarm both audibly and visually. And in fact, the wrist gauge will vibrate when an alarm system is triggered. So there are alarms for the following. We have temperature alarm, oil pressure alarm, battery voltage alarm. You can also set the channel that your gauges are communicating on. So you can have up to 16 different cars monitored by this display system if you like. You can silence the alarm with this little touch button right there if it's something that you're not interested in. This will save your engine. We have seen so many classic cars that have had seized engines because something went wrong with oil pressure. Oil filter wasn't put on properly. There was a leak. This will warn you far earlier than your built-in vintage 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s gauge systems. So again, it's coupled with the Engauge underdash module, which comes with your kit and all the necessary connectors and installation. It's a great little thing. It's rechargeable with a simple USB connector here. You can set the time of day, and you have audible visual alarms. And you can glance at your wrist while driving. Anytime it powers off, you simply touch it, and it will show the gauges again. Here's what an alarm condition looks like. We're simulating a low oil pressure reading. You can see that the oil pressure lights up in red, 1 psi. Definitely, if you were driving your car and there was 1 psi of oil pressure, you want to know about it. It makes a buzzing, a vibration, which is difficult to express over the video, but you would definitely feel it on your wrist while driving. You can see that the dial indicator shows a red dot. That is your alarm condition. You can temporarily silence the alarm by pressing the silence button, and it will stop vibrating. This is exciting because this is extremely important because if you have an oil pressure problem, if you have a temperature problem, if you have a charging problem with your charging system, you need to know about it right away. And classic cars do not have instrumentation that will give you these alarms. Again, it saves power and will automatically start vibrating again when there's alarm condition.